Okay, Nick, it's my third time. I hope this one works. Thanks for your Gary 65 follow the money, because if we can start here, we might get somewhere. Okay. Um, 54 trillion, 55. The debt clock says 57. Who knows? But 54 trillion is the amount of money that we have to pay back to somebody. Is that right? I mean, is that how I read that? The total credit market debt, 54 trillion. Yeah, the answer is no. That's not the answer. That's the nominal amount of the debt outstanding. The nominal amount only. Don't include any debt service payments. It doesn't include the interest in the debt service payments. Okay? So 54 trillion, when you add on the interest, depending on the term of the monies that's out there, is generally speaking another 54 trillion. Let's just call it that. That's 54, that's 108, let's say 110 trillion. So there's 110 trillion dollars out of the future from the United States of America taxpayers. Those are the people who have to pay back all the United States dollar denominated debts, okay, before we can buy another bag of groceries. No groceries without paying back 110 trillion. And here's the rub, Nick. Remember the debt money system? The permanent lack of a permanent money system. We rely on banks and loans to create all money. We need to borrow the money to buy the groceries, to buy the bag of groceries. That's the truth. Okay? So the lunacy of the debt money system, if you pay any attention to it, starts to come out. Okay? Now, the other thing that you mentioned was about how fractional reserve banking, kind of the money multiplier, things, fractional reserves, there's only, think of it as there's only two banks, and Bank A lends to Bank B, and Bank B lends to Bank A, and Bank piles up. All of that stuff in the financial, domestic financial, and a big part of the other stuff too, okay, just funny how they count it. It's not related to fractional reserve banking. There's no connection with fractional reserve banking. It's the shadow banking, investment banking side. Okay? They're not constrained by reserves requirements. Although, quite frankly, neither is the commercial banking sector, but my point is they're separate. Okay? My point is that all of that money that's been created on the shadow banking side is related to leveraging, borrowing money against some form of equity, whatever that form of equity is, to the tune of 20 to 1, not 10 to 1, or 30 to 1, or 40 to 1, or even occasionally 50 to 1, okay, so that they can go out and borrow dollar United States denominated instruments having to be paid back by the United States taxpayers, okay, and they can do it without any consideration, which is, again, it shows why we can't work it out from here. And just so you know, okay, the international financial capitalists, they did not see this coming, okay? They see this coming. They see this as the way to get, starting with, Argentina and Mexico and many third world countries where you extend debt. This is what this is. This is the extension of debt through fractional reserve bank lending. The extension of debt to the point where you can't afford to pay it, so you get into a workout agreement, which is basically an extension of your debt, so that you owe the resources and the labor of the people of the country forevermore to pay back the debts that you couldn't afford. Well, that stuff now is coming up the food chain. We are at the top of the food chain, but it's coming up. Okay, that's why you've got the Greece and Spain and Iceland and Ireland and Latvia and all of those countries that are getting into their workout agreements. And how long is the world going to stand for it? That's my question. How long are the people of the United States going to stand for it? Because at some point they're gonna, well, it won't be like won't be like a workout agreement with us. It will just be an understanding of, you know, how we have to work to repay the debts that we have out there. Now, oh, no, there's going to be there will be a workout, okay, and we need to be in the driver's seat when that workout happens, okay, and the only way we can do that is by having a new money system. I want to go back to, you know, the point with Gary, you know, is always going on about, correctly, about you know, the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer, and that's basically what's happening. That's why we bailed out the banks and not people, because it's the banks that are in control of politics. You know, the banks control politics, and through money they control politics. So we have a situation where back in the 70s, you know, we had tons of money being created, a lot of money being created, and a good share of that money, and a regular share of that money, went into wages. And went into wages because we produce things. You know, the flow of money coming down went to create goods and services, productive goods and services. And in order to have productive goods and services, you have to employ people. So, you know, what's happened over that period, and with Reagan, you know, yeah, that's true about Reagan's thing about, you know, taking the taxation burden, you know, off of corporations and the rich and putting it onto the lower and middle class. But what's happened is there's no money from the money that's being created that's going to that production, and therefore not creating the jobs, and therefore not creating the wages, and therefore not creating the ability to pay back all of that debt. So that's the situation that we're in, and we need to figure out, you know, what is there going to be a remedy to that situation? What's that remedy going to be? So I have, on a number of occasions, and I'm going to do it again, invited any listener to go to Financial Sense University and to Google out, or whatever, search out a paper by Stephen LaChance called How Debt Money Goes Broke. And if you read that paper, and if you understand debt money, you know, what debt money is, you realize that we're at the point of no return with debt money. The nature of debt money it goes like this within those sectors, okay, that only the business sector, only the commercial business sector of the economy is capable of liquidating its debt, so self-liquidating within that group, okay? And the reason that it is capable of liquidating its debts is because the businesses are able to generate profits, and when businesses generate profits, they take money from other sectors, okay, even the other business sector, of course, to be able to repay the loans. But, you know, the household sector is not capable of doing that, and the way the government sector is structured with regard to money, that is to say, they got their heads up their asses and they don't really know that they should be in charge of the money system, as opposed to paying rent for using the money system, that the government sector neither is capable of repaying itself. So you have a situation where a total increase in the amount of debts, total increase in the interest payments due, to the point where we can't create debt fast enough to make those interest payments, and we're done. Okay, we're done. We're at the point of done. Collectively, globally, we're at the point of done. Okay? Can't do it anymore. Now, the fact that it's at 54 trillion, you know, or 110 trillion is totally inconsequential. The fact of the matter is we cannot create enough new debt money. Remember that we need it to buy a bag of groceries? To make the debt service payments. The monetary system is insolvent. The money system is insolvent. We need a new money system. If you read Stephen LaChance's paper, he says the options are a new money system or get the government out of money and have a private solution. So we're going to have either a conservative, libertarian, Austrian solution on the one hand, okay, or we're going to have a progressive, democratic government solution on the other. That's the debate that we need to have, because it's the money system. Thanks.